the nourisher of the one who receives nourishment, and the caretaker to those who are careful. We thank him, the one who existed even before beginning began, the one who cannot be contained because he is the container himself, and the one who will be the last even when the last man last his last. We as well send his peace and salutation to the noblest of all men, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his household, and those who believe in his rightful way till the day of recompense. Brothers and sisters in faith, I find no better way of greeting you than the universal greetings of peace, the greetings of the dwellers of paradise beneath which rivers of honey milk flows. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام
وعليكم
ورحمة
السلام
الله
ورحمة
وبركاته.
الله وبركاته.
وبركاته.
Depression. In fact, it's almost impossible for you to go to a khutbah in Ghana and you hear an imam speaking about depression. Also, truly, in our local tradition and local homes, it's mostly really difficult for you to hear a father and his son's conversation centered on depression. If your mom was to ask you to clean the house, or your dad was to ask you to accompany him to the farm, and then you reported a matter of depression to their attention, dad, today I can't go to farm, or mom, today I can't wash because I'm having mood swing or I'm having depression, the eyes or the hands that will have friction with your body alone will let the depression disappear immediately. So in Africa, we do not really take depression seriously. Whilst I was researching to write my book on depression, how to depress your depression, I was looking for content to review literature in Ghana to see authors who have written similar books so that in the context of Ghana, I could write a similar book. What I noticed surprisingly was that I did not find a single author in Ghana who have written a book on depression. Meanwhile, depression is such a topic that affects every single person on earth. The Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam himself was depressed, and Allah revealed Surah to Dua consoling him, and Allah gave him his most assurance that what is yet to come is better than what has gone. In fact, when you read the passages of the Quran, you understand that there were certain times, even the Prophet at their time almost lost hope and will ask, when will the Nasr or the victory of Allah come? Then Allah has to assure them that indeed the victory of Allah is near. So the prophets of God, who were the most distinguished in terms of faith, had some levels of depression. In fact, they had uncertainties and they had doubt. Prophet Ibrahim is widely regarded in Christianity and in Islam as the father of faith, but he said in the Quran, Rabbi arini kaifa tuhil mauta. Oh Lord, show me, demonstrate to me, how are you going to resurrect the dead? And Allah said, Awalam to me, oh really, Ibrahim yourself? Don't you believe? Are you doubting? Won't you doubt your doubts and believe in what I tell you? And he said, well, I actually believe, walakin liyatma'inna qalbi. I just want certainty for my heart. So you understand that there were some times that the messengers of the Almighty had to go through emotional disturbances. They had to go through questionings. They had to go through similar things that we experience. In fact, when Ibrahim passed away, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam himself was crying. He was in tears. He wept like anybody would when they lose their loved one. When the issue of our mother Aisha came about, it bothered the Prophet so much that the Prophet was anticipating a verse from Allah, which took so long to come. So every human being on earth get depressed. Yet we hardly ever talk about this important topic. In fact, even doctors who diagnose depression themselves get depressed. Even authors who write books on depression, they get depressed. So it's a very important and a very delicate matter that we as Muslims, especially, we need to talk about. Because if we do not enlighten our Muslim brothers about these particular issues, then people who are depressed might be seen as people lacking iman or lacking faith. People would say or seem to think that the more piety you have, then the less depression you would have. Meanwhile, most of the pious people were very, very, very much tested, and they went through a lot of difficulties. And sometimes the only thing we might see in the scriptures is the end result, but their struggles and what they went through and how they behaved during that is mostly not seen in its entirety. So what I want to convey to us tonight are some of the things that brings about depression and how to deal with them holistically as a Muslim. You don't just wake up depressed. There are certain things that will trigger the depression. There are certain things that will deeply press you over time. And for the majority of the experiences that will lead to your depression, you have a contribution or you have a way to control some of them. I always say that when you look at the sadness that every human would undergo, because Allah said, "لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ." Indeed, He Allah deliberately or intentionally created human beings in struggle. So you cannot be a human, you cannot not suffer from depression. It's either currently you have suffered or you are suffering or you are yet to suffer from depression or any other sadness. But then, out of 100% of the sadness that you will go through, I will estimate that about 60% are actually caused by yourself. You see, so we have some natural activities that can happen in your own life that will lead to depression, but there are a lot of other stuff that you yourself can engage in that can lead to depression. I'm having a meeting. I'm having a meeting online. Uh,
What can happen? Yeah.
please, are you following?
Yes.
All right. So when we talk about natural causes like death,
Yeah, in fact.
you cannot do away with death. In fact, most certainly, death is the only uncertain certainty which is certain to happen. In this uncertain world of ours, the only uncertainty which is certain to happen is the certainty of death. And when death happens, you are likely to go through a series of grief which will likely lead to your depression. But then there are other things that lead to depression that is not caused by natural circumstances. For instance, broken heart. If your boyfriend or girlfriend leaves you and go and marry another person, or they have found somebody more beautiful than you or somebody richer than you and they leave you, you'll be broken hearted. And because your heart has broken, you might go into depression. But this one nobody sent you. And I always say that if you are a Muslim and you get broken heart or your partner leaves you and marry, nothing is going to happen to them because Allah didn't ask you to go to a relationship. So if they spend all your money and they left you and they go and marry another person, it doesn't concern Allah. After all, you were doing haram and then the person decided to go for what is halal, to go to marry. So